Hello, how's it going? We're almost finished our email extractor application. There's a few things that we do need to be mindful of, and one of them is removing out of the duplicates. So we see that we've got 8 emails found, but we know that all I did is duplicated the string value, so those are all duplicates. So it should still only be outputting the 4 emails. And let's do that, and we'll fix that within this lesson. So setting up an array, so basic empty array, we can call that holder. And what we're going to do is we're going to loop through that array. So doing just a regular for loop. So letting x equal 0, looping through while x is less than email data length, and then incrementing x so that we have a way out of our loop. And we're going to loop through and add to holder. So taking holder and using push method. So what that does is it adds the content into the new array, and taking that email data array, we're going to push whatever the active element is and add that into the array. So basically what this has done is this has duplicated the array. So now we've got another array called holder with the exact same details. And what we want to do is before we actually add it into holder, we want to do a quick check to see if it already exists. So we can take our holder array and check to see index of. And what index of does is it can check the array to see if there's an index value for a particular value. And if there is, then it's going to return back that index value. Otherwise, it's going to return back -1. So we're checking to see if the value of email data x exists. And if it does exist, then we know we've got an index value being returned back. And if it doesn't exist, then we've got a -1 being returned back. So -1 means that it's not in the array already. So now we've got a nicely formatted brand new array, and this time we've removed out the duplicates. So we do get emails, and now we're using that holder array. So it doesn't matter how many that I put in there, we're still outputting that holder array. And there's one thing that we need to still update here as well, and that's outputting that value there. So now it doesn't matter how many times these emails appear within that string value, we're still only extracting out the unique ones, the unique emails from the string. One last thing that we can do, and sometimes the user might not want to have it comma separated, we might want to have another separator, and that's also easy to do with JavaScript. So because this is an array and we're outputting it within our visible area, it turns it into a string, and by default we know that the arrays are comma separated, so that's why it's comma separating it. So there's another way to do that, and we can create a different type of separator by using the join method in JavaScript. So let's create that, and temp holder. This can be called whatever we want it to be called. We could also output it directly within that inner text if we wanted to. So we're taking our holder and we're using the join method. So joins all elements of an array into a string. So by default, if we do join comma, we're not going to actually see anything different. I'm going to use double quotes there. So these are just quotes around whatever the separator that we want. So we're not going to see anything different. But for instance, if we want to have a semicolon outputting there, sometimes that's a useful way. You can see that now instead of the comma, or I need to output that temp holder, of course. So refresh, and we can see that now instead of the comma, we've got the colon there, the semicolon. So this can be anything. We could have a bunch of dashes, new, and whatever we want. And of course, probably you don't want to do this, but this is always an option. So I'm going to leave it as a semicolon, and then it's up to you to extend on this if you want to have a different separator. And all this is doing, again, this is manipulating the arrays using JavaScript. So this is an array method where we can join the array together, turn it into a string, and we can specify what we want as the separator between the items that were contained within the array. So now we've got the number of emails that were found, we've got the length, and we've also got them as unique values that are being returned, and we're also changing and updating the joiner. So go ahead and add this into your application. Try it out for yourself, have some fun with it, experiment with it, and next we're going to do a quick code review of our email extractor. So that's coming up next. So go ahead and add this into your project, the ability to get the unique emails as well as to change the separator for the emails that are being output for the user.